You've felt it. You hear a recording of yourself, a voicemail, a video, a voice memo you didn't mean to send, and your stomach drops. Wait, is that what I actually sound like? That can't be me. It's too high, too nasal, too something. It sounds like a stranger doing a slightly bad impression of you. And here is the strange part. Everyone feels this. Almost nobody likes the sound of their own recorded voice, and yet we're all perfectly fine with everyone else's. So what is going on? Why does your own voice, the single sound you have heard more than any other in your entire life, suddenly sound so wrong the moment it's played back to you? The answer comes in two layers, one physical, one psychological, and together they lead to a genuinely unsettling conclusion. The voice you can't stand might be the real one, and the voice inside your head, the one you've trusted your whole life, might be the fake. Let's start with the physics, because half of this mystery is just sound. When anyone speaks, sound leaves their mouth, travels through the open air, and arrives at your ears. That's called air conduction. It's how you hear everything around you, traffic, music, other people talking. And crucially, it is how the entire world hears you. But when you speak, you are hearing your own voice through a second, secret channel that nobody else gets. As your vocal cords vibrate, those vibrations don't only travel out into the air. They also travel up, directly through the bones of your skull, straight into your inner ear. This is called bone conduction, your own private audio cable running through your head. Want to feel it for yourself? Plug your ears with your fingers completely and hum. You can still hear the hum, clear as day, even though you've blocked almost all the sound trying to get in through the air. That sound is reaching you another way entirely, straight through the bone. That's your hidden channel, working in real time. And here's the detail that changes everything. Bone is not a neutral messenger. Your skull carries low frequencies far more efficiently than high ones. So bone conduction adds a layer of deep, warm bass to your voice that simply is not there in the air-conducted version. Every single time you talk, you are hearing a blend. The ordinary air-conducted sound, plus a rich, low-frequency boost piped straight through your bones. One laryngologist described it as hearing your own voice through a kind of cave complex inside your head. Sinuses, cavities, and bone all resonating together into something only you will ever hear. That is the voice you know. Fuller, deeper, more resonant. The voice that feels like you. Now here is where it gets uncomfortable. A microphone has no skull. It just sits there in the air, a few feet away, and it only ever captures the air-conducted version of your voice, the one without the bass. So when you play that recording back, you are hearing your voice stripped of all the low frequencies your bones have been quietly adding for your entire life. Thinner, higher, less impressive than you remembered. And that, of course, is exactly what you sound like to everybody else. Sit with that for a second, because it flips the whole thing inside out. The voice you're wincing at is not a distortion. It is not the microphone being cruel. That recorded voice is the only voice your friends, your family, your coworkers, every person you have ever spoken to has ever heard. The deep, warm voice you hear inside your head, no one else has ever experienced it. Not once. Not ever. So when you finally hear a recording and think, that's not me, you've got it precisely backwards. That is you. The version in your head was the illusion all along. A private, bass-boosted remix playing for an audience of exactly one. Which means something a little dizzying. You have technically never heard your own real voice in real time. Not once in your entire life. The only way to ever hear what you actually sound like to the world is to record it and play it back. But there's a problem with stopping there, because if this were only about some missing bass, the recording would just sound a little higher than you expected. You'd notice it and shrug. You don't shrug. You wince. Some people genuinely cannot stand it. And that much discomfort is far too big to be explained by a few missing frequencies. So something else has to be going on. And it is. Back in 1966, two psychologists, Philip Holzman and Clyde Rousey, ran a study where they recorded people and played their own voices back to them. and they watched their subjects squirm. They gave the reaction a wonderfully dramatic name: voice confrontation. What they discovered was that the discomfort isn't really about the sound at all. It's about the information. When you hear your voice from the outside for the first time, you don't just hear a different pitch. You hear everything your voice accidentally gives away about you. The small tremor of anxiety, the hesitation, the flatness or the sharp edge that you never intended and never knew was there. Emotional cues that everyone else has been picking up on for years, but that you have been completely deaf to because you have never once heard yourself the way they do. In other words, the recording doesn't just sound unfamiliar. It feels exposing. It's you, meeting a version of yourself that other people have always known, and quietly wondering what else they can hear that you can't. One neuroscientist puts it this way: the instant you hear your own voice played back, detached from your body, your brain can't help but treat it like a stranger's, and it sizes that stranger up just as critically as it would anyone else. And the proof that this is psychological and not just acoustic is honestly wild. In one study, people were played a lineup of voices that secretly included their own, without being told, and they rated their own voice as more attractive than the others. The dislike completely vanished the moment they didn't know it was them. In another study, only about a third of people could even reliably pick their own recorded voice out of a lineup at all. We are, in a very real sense, strangers to the sound of ourselves. So here is where it all lands, and it's weirdly comforting. That voice you hate? Every person who loves you fell for that voice. Your friends, your partner, the people whose faces light up when you call them, they have only ever known the recorded version. The real you, acoustically speaking, was never the warm one in your head. It was the one you can't stand. And the people in your life like it just fine. In fact, to them, that voice is simply the sound of you walking in the door, the voice attached to every good memory they have of you. You are the only person on earth who hears it and flinches. And there's even better news if it still makes you cringe. Voice confrontation fades with exposure. The reason podcasters and singers and broadcasters stop flinching at their own voices is not that they happen to have nicer voices than you. It's that they have heard the recorded version so many times that it has finally become familiar. Your brain simply needs to update its expectation. Listen back enough times, and the stranger slowly turns back into you. It's the very same reason your own face can look slightly off in a photo, while it looks perfectly fine in a mirror. Your brain has memorized one version and quietly flinches at the other. Familiarity, not some flaw, is doing all of the work. So the recording was never your enemy. It is just a mirror you had never been shown before. And like any mirror, the discomfort isn't really about what's in it. It's about the gap between what you expected to see and what was actually there the entire time. So which one is the real you? The warm, deep voice, echoing through the private cave of your own skull, the one only you will ever get to hear? Or the lighter, truer voice on the recording, the one that the entire rest of the world has known as you for your whole life? I genuinely want to know which one you'd claim as yours. Tell me in the comments. That's how it simply goes. We'll see you in the next one.